What's up, everyone? Oh, sorry, I'm recording. Blah blah blah.
Whoa.
I know, I got jump
Yeah,
scared. I was like, wait a
second.
second, hold on. I'm not recording.
My bad, my bad. I was like, oh, I didn't say the blah blah blah.
Alright, I am recording. Blah, blah, blah.
I am recording. Ba ba ba.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 706th episode of the Pokemon Podcast. It's super effective. I'm your host, Steve. With me is Bobby.
Hello. You know what I didn't get this weekend? Pokemon cards. You know why I didn't get Pokemon cards this weekend? Because you can't find Pokemon cards anywhere.
Yeah.
Must be a new issue of 2026.
Yeah. Yep, never seen this before.
Austin is also here.
I finally tried the Juicy Nerds Gummy
Oh,
Clusters.
yes.
Fantastic. They're
Very
so
good.
good. Yeah.
Except you don't
Yes.
get that much in a bag.
No, you don't. And I almost think they could have more juice inside. But they are very
not
good,
juicy
though.
enough. So
Not
we need
juicy
double
enough.
stuffed, juicy
Yes.
gummy clusters.
Make them juicier, please.
All
Yeah.
right.
Who makes nerds? Is it what's the company?
Unilever? I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Well, if they're listening, because I know all the candy companies listen to this podcast, make them juicier.
Perfect.
Make them juicier.
Yeah, we have a show for you guys today. We have some TCG stuff with Ascended Heroes being delayed, and that affects both TCG Live and the physical game. We talked about a theme park last week, which there is previews of that now, and I watched about 20 Japanese videos of Kanto Poke Park, and we could talk about that a little bit, but there's some Universal Studio Pokemon news. If you like music, the Z-A CD is coming. We have a little bit of Masters news. You did not hear that incorrectly. A little bit of Masters news. And then Pokemon won a award. So we'll talk about that. And then if you are a patron or an Apple Podcast Premium subscriber, I don't know what the Apple Podcast people are called. If you have Apple Podcasts, the app on your iPhone, you can subscribe there instead of through Patreon. So both of those people get the same longer episodes. But if you are on the premium feed, we're paywalling Pokemon Sleep again. So you won't believe what new Pokemon is coming to Pokemon Sleep unless you pay the $5 a month. You won't ever know. Patreon.com/PKMNcast.
There's some good content on the way.
All right, Ascended Heroes. Bobby, what happened?
Yeah, they decided to delay not the okay. Let me start over. Let's
This is so
rewind. So Ascended Heroes is not a regular set. It's one of the special sets or the holiday sets. So its release was going to be staggered. This is similar to what happened with Prismatic Evolutions last year. So only a few products were going to come out this last Friday, January 30th. And then next month, they're going to release more products. And then the following month, they're going to release more. So by March, all the products will be out. But we were supposed to be getting 3 different products 2 days ago as of recording. And they decided to, at the last minute, pull back 2 of the 3 products that we were going to get. So they sent out I think a tweet and on Instagram, a notice basically saying that they were going to delay the release of the Erica and Larry products of Ascended Heroes to February 20th instead of January 30th. And so instead of multiple products coming out, there was only, I think, one product that
It was
one
like a
product that released.
blister pack, wasn't it? It was just
It was the tech stickers with like 3 packs was the only product that released on January 30th.
Yeah, so Texas sticker collection on January 30th, and then February 20th will be the Elite Trainer box, the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box, the mini tins. I think the Elite Trainer boxes were always scheduled for February 20th.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
the Mini 10s, the First Partner Deluxe Pin Collection, the Premium Poster Collection, and then the Booster Collection 2-pack, which was the Ericon Larry. And then April 24th was the Booster Bundle, and then the Mega Feraligatr, Mega Emboar, Mega Meganium EX box.
And I feel like those were supposed to be March. It is weird that they're coming out 2 months later. So like February 20th is when I feel like when this set should have just released. This is like everything is pretty much coming out
Probably.
February 20th. But then why wait another 2 months to release booster bundles? Like,
Also, isn't this like the biggest special set they've ever made?
I think it's the biggest set ever, not special, like special or regular.
Ever is wild, yeah.
Because it was Fusion Strike. And then I think this surpassed Fusion Strike for cards in the set.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. There are a lot of cool cards in this set, I will say. A lot of really cool artworks. There's a lot of the like secret rares, so that is cool, but the problem is the same problem we've had for an entire year and a half. You can't get cards anywhere.
No, because I was looking through the set list of this, and there are so many cards I really like in this one, but the hope is not there that I'm going to be able to pull many of them.
Yeah, and I thought from what I've been seeing online that all the people that were collecting Pokemon just to make a quick buck had moved over to One Piece. And
That's what
so
I
I
thought.
was thinking, great, this means we'll get to see Pokemon cards on shelves again. No, that's just not true.
No, they're definitely out of stock
Mhm.
everywhere.
I got a TikTok of one of those TCG ship and rip guys, and he was like, "I'm
Sure.
frustrated because I have to buy the packs for $10 a pack, and then I have to sell them for like $12 a pack to make a profit." What's
Uh-huh.
a pack should be what, like $3.99, $4.99.
Yeah, $4.99. I think
$4.99.
$4.99.
So just like in a nutshell, it's like this dude is buying it for double,
Mhm.
and then only making like a $2 profit off of it, where the original person who is selling it to them is making 100% profit off of it.
Absolutely.
Which
Yeah.
I don't understand. I guess if you do rip and ships, you want to comment on how this works. I don't understand how you can really make money off of only selling packs for like an extra $2 and then have to ship everything and do all of that. You have to have so many. I feel like you have to have so many customers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if anyone ripping shippers are listening to this podcast, 'cause we haven't been very
Well,
generous to them.
That's true.
This is off community.pokemon.com. TPCI Glowing Moon. Not to be confused with Roaring Moon, and not to be confused with Garbage King. But this is one of the admins. They said, "Hello, everyone. We are aware that the announcement of the changes to availability and physical legality of the cards from Mega Evolution Ascended Hero expansion has raised some questions. We want to take this opportunity to provide more information about Pokemon TCG Live's role as a game, as well as we plan to support competitive players going forward. TCG Live is designed to provide an environment in which players can enjoy access to newly released cards as they become available, as well as a space for competing in play Pokemon events to immediately start prepping for the future of competitive play." It's almost like they're going to come out with a different game for that. Due to the official rules on product legality, does this mean that ranked gameplay in TCG Live will not always affect the current rule set present at Regionals and International Championship Series? These are different, and these differences are compounded when an emergent product legality changes are made. The first step in doing so is the trainer trials to temporarily simulate different rule sets. However, the implementation takes some time, and additional engineer work is necessary for us to do so safely. We are looking to a first pilot through a pre-rotation trainer trial in March, with an additional pilot to test follows. Players can expect an update as we get closer to 2026 standard formation rotation. I can't remember exactly what happened here. Because I saw two different audiences complain about this. So for those that don't know, when a new set officially comes out, so the original release set for this was January 30th. That means any card would be legal in both physical play and TCG Live 2 weeks after that comes out. So if you do 2 weeks of January 30th, that is right before EUIC, and that would make those cards legal for EUIC. And so people were, I think there's one card in the set, I think it's like Palpad, which everyone wants to have in their decks. I think that's like the main competitive card is like Palpad or Paypad. I think it's Palpad.
Palpad is a card.
Yeah, it's Palpad.
So people want to put 4 Palpads in pretty much all their decks, and because you got to put 4 Palpads. Okay, this is not TCG Pocket. TCG Pocket, you're only allowed 2. It's a 20-card deck. TCG, the real TCG is 60-card decks. You can put 4 cards in it. So a lot of people have been playtesting or printing proxy cards because of that. And they also delayed Ascended Hero. So not only are all the cards delayed physically and people cannot walk into a store and get them, they then delayed the physical card. They then delayed the rule set going into EUIC, where none of the cards from Ascended Heroes are legal. So now, I did see some people say, well, like, I want them to be legal, at least for TCG Live, so I can practice. And then some people were just like, well, you've just made TCG Live useless because people are using Palpad, and I can't practice against a card that's not going to be legal in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And
before people come through and rip us apart in the comments, I think it's Poképad.
Oh, okay. I think there was a card called Palpad.
There is a card.
Okay,
yes,
for sure
there
was a
is
card called Palpad.
But I think the controversy here is with the card called Poképad.
I think they do the same thing.
Okay.
Although they're not named the same, so that means that you can't like use an old version of Bring Back Gust of Wind. Also, side note, TCG Live doesn't make any money. There's no way to give it money, which is what the rumors of Pokemon Champions is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think on the website it said Pokemon Champions, there's like no way to just like buy.
Oh, wait, you're saying the rumor of Pokemon Champions is that there won't be microtransactions?
No, I'm not saying there will be microtransactions, but like you can't just like straight up buy booster packs in TCG Live.
Oh, sure. Yeah, right.
I think Pokemon Champions will have something to buy, but I don't think you just.
Yes.
It says at the bottom, a free to start game Pokemon Champions starter pack bundle, as well as optional in-game items, will be available to purchase. More pricing later on.
Yeah. Okay.
Poképad and Palpad do not do
no.
the same thing.
What are the differences?
Poképad, search your deck for a Pokemon without a rule box, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. You may play as many item cards as you like during your turn. And Palpad is just shuffle up to 2 supporter cards from your discard pile back into your deck.
Okay.
Wait,
they both
say-
give the.
Say Poképad again?
Search your deck for a Pokemon without a rule box, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. You may play as many item cards as you like during your
Couldn't
turn.
you just use Pokeball instead? Doesn't that do the same
No,
thing?
Pokeballs flip a coin if heads.
Oh,
You're
that's
thinking
right.
of TCG Pocket.
No, I'm thinking of a different ball, like Nest Ball, or
Ultra Ball is discard 2
to get
card
one.
in your hand to then search for any Pokemon.
Oh, you know what? I think what I'm thinking of is it's a basic Pokemon. Search for a basic Pokemon, not any Pokemon without a rule box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if Great Ball is legal, but Great Ball was like, look at the top 7 cards of your deck. If there's a Pokemon there, put it in your hand.
I think Quick Ball or Nest Ball was put a basic Pokemon into your hand. But anyways,
You could A-Spec Master Ball. Just get any Pokemon you want. No one's playing A-Spec Master Ball. What a waste of an A-Spec. just
It kind
play
of
4
is.
Ultra Balls. Yeah, I Like, TCG Live exists as a free product just so people can practice.
Yeah,
That's pretty much
I
it.
mean, that's the problem, right? Now that they're saying like sometimes the rules will be different in TCG Live than it will be in real life, it's like, what is the purpose then at that point? I guess it works most of the time, right? Most of the time, the rule sets will be the same, so you can practice. But it really does throw a wrench in it when the TCG Live rule sets are different than what it is in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have the paragraph I missed here. It says we are actively taking steps towards piloting. They love this word piloting ways that will allow us to better support competitive players in times when tournament rule sets differ from TCG Live environment, in order to provide a safe training space for in-person events in real time without compromising TCG Live's core mission of ensuring the latest TCG content remains accessible for all players.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
there's probably
see.
like 7 people working on this game, and they're probably, the majority of their work is making sure the rules of very specific cards work in the game prior to them coming
Yep.
out. So them needing to like go back and disable something, I don't know. There's been multiple times on this podcast where we talk about how like, oh, TCG Live has added the new set, and like Hitmontop doesn't work, and Hitmontop's like legitimately good, and no one can actually play and test Hitmontop. So
Yeah.
But again, I think, not to go down a road of Champions, I think Champions is ultimately just here to do the same thing, which is we want to have another data point to get data from our players that isn't Showdown, because I'm sure they get their data from Showdown, but like
Sure.
if they wanted to test Mega Pokemon and Dynamax Pokemon at the same time, they can't really do that in Scarlet and Violet, or I'm sure they will be able to do that in Gen 10. I'm sure there will be no Dynamax and no Mega Pokemon in Gen 10.
Yeah. No, I've had multiple conversations with people over the last few weeks regarding Champions, just because of the comments we've made on this podcast. And there have been some good points. I will say there have been some good points as to why like Champions could be, something more competitive going forward. But I still am on the theory of this is a holdover for 2026, and then
Yes.
Champions will still be something. They're not going to just drop it, but it won't be, I still think it won't be the main competitive VG game once Gen 10 comes out. But hey, throw out those arguments though. There's been some great arguments, some great points for why it could be, but I don't think so.
There hasn't been any.
Keep trying. You're all wrong.
The whole, even if they want it to be the main game, you still have to get past the hurdle of people actually actively playing Champions and liking the game, right?
Yeah.
Like the second people are like, nope, don't care, not logging in. I'm just going to play Showdown instead. The second that game has 0 player base is the second they go, okay, we got to pivot back.
Sure. I'll give you that. That doesn't mean that there aren't still some good points out there as to like what could come from it, but
it serves, it still at the very end of the day serves the purpose of giving them data, and giving them a stopgap, and dealing with nostalgia of like, if you really care about playing with Mega Pokemon or playing with Z moves, cool, you can go back and do that. Like it serves the same purpose that like Battle Revolution did, which is like, here's a battle sim, and it has a cool announcer, and then everyone will forget about it after a while.
Every time you mention Battle Revolution, the only thing I can remember from playing that game is the random battles. Was there actually like a decent battle simulator in there?
What do you mean by decent battles?
Well, just
what do you mean
was
by
there
decent?
something more to it?
It works.
I only remember picking random themes, the announcer going, "That's a
Are you thinking of Stadium?"
And that's about it. Maybe. Battle Revolution, I feel like all I did was like you just pick like a random team, but maybe I'm wrong.
There were random teams in Battle Revolution. I mean,
it has been so long.
You
though,
could
so I don't
also
know.
get a non-shiny Magmar and a non-shiny Electabuzz, or maybe it was Electivire and Magmortar. It was that line. You could get those Pokemon as gifts, and then you could send them to Diamond and Pearl or Platinum.
Wow. Why is this
Awesome.
not on everybody's list of best game?
You could find shiny costumes though. That was fun.
Sure. If you think resetting for a costume that you can't keep, that would only exist for about 5 minutes until that battle is over. If you think that's fun.
Hey, it's fun to brag. I've never even gotten close.
It's fun to brag.
They also said that like champions won't even have all the Pokemon available. So like,
right,
when Champions launches, which has to be relatively soon, so we already know they just rotated into what
I think.
in Scarlet and Violet,
Mm-hmm.
and that goes until March 31st, I think. I think it goes for 2 months.
That sounds right. I don't know the exact dates, but
so is Champions coming in the next 2 months? So then that after that season, but like right, like Scarlet and Violet will still have another regulation afterwards. It will just probably do the Sword and Shield thing where it goes into like a permanent. Okay, this is our final regulation.
Mm-hmm.
And people can still practice there and just play there and get their ribbon there or whatever they want to do there. But Champions is supposed to be the world's game for August, and it's not here yet.
Yeah, seems. I don't know. It does seem weird. I really did think we were going to get Champions earlier in.
Yeah, I thought like January would have been.
January was
and then it was like, okay, you have 8 months or 7-ish months to work out any kinks with Champions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're running out of time
very quickly.
Yeah, maybe. I still think Champions will have like 2 rule sets, which is the first rule set is the Z-A Pokedex, no legends. And then the next rule set would be the Z-A Pokedex with legends. There's which would like the only legends that probably actually matter there are Kyogre and Groudon.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Rayquaza, but Rayquaza doesn't have to hold a Mega Stone.
True. Very true.
But I don't think Darkrai or Zeraora or Magearna, I don't think any of those would be probably legal going, and they've never done like mythicals going into like a Worlds.
Mm-hmm. So
I do feel slightly bad for players because we're like the Scarlet and Violet format is so played out now. But I don't know. Tell me that I'm wrong. I'm the one over a year ago saying, hey, they're going to come out with a battle simulator this year. And then it happened. And then apparently all the comments are like, well, let me tell you how it's going to work.
They really did change. Yeah, they were like, no, it's not happening too. Oh, I know exactly how it's happening.
Been a pretty good track record on this podcast.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break. We'll watch like the second we publish this video, they'll be like, "Oh, Champions is coming out." No,
yeah, the news will be 100%. Right there.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we got some music. And what was the second part of our podcast? I don't remember how the show works. Oh, Universal. All right, we will be right back. And we are back from our break. Universal Japan delivers immersive Pokemon experience to fans. Well, they were already at Universal, so
they're still delivering.
This is for the Japan studios, not the Florida. Is there one in California as well?
There's one in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know if there's not Pokemon stuff at the one in Los Angeles, though.
No.
Yeah.
Just Nintendo.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Universal Studios Japan and the Pokémon Company announced their plan to offer more innovative, immersive, and a lot of buzzwords here, and world-class Pokemon experiences. Part of the project at Universal Studios Japan ongoing effort to enhance offerings and bring fan-first trip driving characters to the park. Universal Studio Japan is proud to build on its prior success of bringing the world of Pokemon in a new and enriching way for the first time. Following its debut in Japan, Universal Destinations and Experiences will deliver a unique Pokemon experience across the company's global footprint. And then okay, I'm not going to sugarcoat this article. There's nothing here that says like what is coming.
No.
There's just more coming to what they've already been doing in Universal Japan, which I think like the biggest thing they do. I'm not saying it's the only thing they do. I'm just saying what I've always seen has been the most popular is like the Pokemon Halloween stuff at Universal. Because like Gengar comes out and Mimikyu comes out and they put Pikachu in a little Halloween costume and there's like parades. I know people are very into that.
Yeah. There is a quote from Tak Murayama, Executive Vice President and General Manager of USJ LLC, that says a bold new global project is set to begin at Universal Studios Japan on January 22nd, 2026.
Well,
So
they're still working on it.
Right. But, it does say at the very end here, we believe this global project will transcend traditional entertainment and contribute meaningfully to society, embodying the very spirit of, and no, this is quoted, all caps, no limit! Exclamation point.
What does any of this mean? What does this mean?
A lot of corporate speak.
I don't follow Universal stuff, theme park stuff. I'm sure there's probably theme park podcasts out there that you can find. I know there's like a lot of theme park YouTubers, but there were rumors. I do know this at least because I saw people talk about this and I looked into it a little bit. There were rumors that the Simpsons area in Universal was possibly not going to renew, and people were saying that the Pokemon stuff would use the Simpsons area in the park.
In Universal, in Universal Japan?
No. Simpsons is only in Florida, right?
No, it's in LA because I've been to the Simpsons land in
See, this
Universal.
is why I'm not a theme park expert. There is no Simpsons in Japan.
Okay. So
but the Simpsons contract is supposed to expire in 2028.
Okay. So that's in Los Angeles. That's in the one near me. It's not a very big area of the park, though, I will say. It's pretty small. But it's a really fun area of of Universal.
Yeah, I was under the impression that's like one of the fan favorite places, though.
You can drink Duff beer.
Is it real beer or is it?
Yeah, it's real beer.
Oh,
you got to be 21 and older. But
is it just like? Is it unique beer or is it just like Budweiser repackaged?
No, it's been years since I've been, but I think it was like a red ale or something. It wasn't just like Budweiser, but I don't know exactly what beer it is. But they give it to you and it looks like a Duff beer and everything, and it's kind of fun.
Is the Harry Potter stuff only in Florida?
That's in Los Angeles as well.
I've never been to Universal Studios, so I have no clue what even is there.
Yeah, so in LA, I know they definitely have the Simpsons Land because I've been there, and the Harry Potter one, I've been there, and then they have the Nintendo or Super Nintendo World, or I forget exactly what the name is.
But that's not in Florida. That's only LA.
I don't know. I know that it's in LA. I haven't been to Universal since that's come out, so I haven't been to that one yet. But I have no idea what is at Universal Florida. I don't know.
I would assume though that eventually Universal in the United States would get Pokemon stuff.
I would assume. I was thinking that they would definitely bring it to Los Angeles if they're going to bring it to a Universal in the U.S.
But do you think that would be a Pokemon Day announcement?
Well, maybe because they're talking about celebrating the 30th anniversary and everything, right?
Yeah.
And so,
but if they were to announce it on Pokemon Day, would it not be like 2028?
Right. That's what I was going to say.
It would be announced super in advance, but I think that's a good time to announce it.
Yeah. I mean, they announced the whatever hijinks of Surf Etched and Pichu or whatever that was called.
That's
and
not
that
till
comes
next
out
year, right?
2 years later when they announced it. So
I mean, they also announced like the Shibuya Pokemon Center that one year, and like the only. I mean, it's Mewtwo, so like that's cool, but it's just a black Pokemon. Like, there's nothing special about the Shibuya Pokemon Center.
Right.
It's not like it has. I don't even think it has unique merch. It has like the make your T-shirt, but good luck trying to make a T-shirt there.
Yeah.
Simpsons is in Florida also.
Wasn't there something before The Simpsons that they just like there was like a roller coaster there, but then they took that roller coaster and just rebranded it to a Simpsons roller coaster?
I've been to Universal like 3 times in my life, and once I was like 8 years old. I don't remember. And then the last time I didn't ride any roller coasters because my wife was pregnant, and so we didn't ride roller coasters.
Yeah, I'm not a theme park expert.
I'm not a roller coaster fan either, so I don't.
If Universal United States got Pokemon, I would be compelled to go.
Yeah.
Like, I like The Simpsons, but I don't like The Simpsons enough to book a flight and a hotel. And
no, Simpsons Land is not worth flying to LA or Florida to see, but it is fun if you happen to be there. And
well, what else is there besides Simpsons and Harry Potter? Like Jaws?
Yeah, well, I mean, yes. I mean, I don't know about Jaws specifically, but at least the one in LA, because it's right next to Hollywood, is and it's Universal, right? It's all very movie and special effects focused in a lot of different ways. So I don't know that there are as many themed areas as like Simpsons Land and the Harry Potter area, where the rest of the park is more just mixed together.
Orlando has Minions Land. And that seems pretty cool.
That's cool. I'll give Orlando that.
Experience super silly
But
fun.
are the Minions like the Pikachu costume size, or are they actual?
Yeah, they're big.
But I want real size Minions.
No, they're large.
Like, put a 5-year-old in a Minion costume and have them just wander around.
I do wonder if
I don't want large ones. That's too scary.
They're big.
Alpha Minions?
Oh, they have a red eye. Red eyes.
They do.
Alpha Minions?
They have Alpha Minions at Universal Orlando Resort.
So I was thinking this because this is similar to kind of the difference between like Disneyland and Disney World, right? So Disneyland is here in California, Disney World is in Florida, but Disney World is huge. Disney World is like the size of a city, and Disneyland, while huge, is not the size of a city. And I was thinking the Universal Studios park is probably bigger in Orlando than it is in Los Angeles as well. It looks like there are 2 different parks in Orlando for Universal, so I'm assuming it's much bigger there. So maybe Pokemon would come there instead of LA, just because it's a much bigger park. But I guess my wish is that it would come to LA. I don't want to go to Florida.
Maybe our YouTube comments can answer this. Are they planning to expand either of those parks? So, because either you have to expand it to add Pokemon, or you have to replace something, which the rumor is Simpsons would get replaced.
I don't know where they would expand in Los Angeles.
Well, how did Mario get there? Did Mario replace something?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know if it expanded or if they replaced something with Mario. I just feel like Orlando. Look, I don't know anything about Orlando or Florida. I mean, I know a few things about Florida.
I know a lot about Florida, but nothing in the theme park department.
Right, but I don't know. So I don't know the land that surrounds the Universal in Orlando and whether there's more space to build out. But I just don't see them having a ton of land in Los Angeles to build out.
Okay, Google AI overview.
Oh boy!
So
all right, here's a
bear
big
with
asterisk.
that, take it as you wish. But apparently, it replaced infrastructure in the lower lot, including several production sound stages. Nintendo World did.
Okay, so
did not replace a movie.
No.
But they didn't build more space for it either. It sounds like.
Yeah, they just reused.
I guess there could be even more space, more production lots and things like that they could replace with other areas. They might have that already built out as a part of it. But I don't know. I don't want to see the Simpsons Land thing go away. I thought that was really fun. But if they replace it with Pokemon, that'd be okay.
Okay, so Simpsons is only allowed to go away if it's replaced by Pokemon.
Yes.
Oh, they do mention the parade here. Since our long-term alliance in 2021, we have collaborated with Universal Studios Japan to produce authentic Pokemon experience such as the No Limit Parade and Halloween shows.
It's a title. Got it.
As Pokemon celebrates its 30th, we are thrilled to launch this new project as such a significant milestone. Maybe they will show what that new project is on Pokemon Day for Japan, and then maybe announce that it's coming to the United States as well.
Yeah. I could see that. I could see that being like coming. Well, I mean, they did even say in here that they want to bring it global, right? So,
is there a Universal in Europe?
I was gonna say, don't ask that question.
Okay.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna guess no.
There is a Disney in Europe, in Paris, right?
Yes.
Well, not technically. Well, I think it's like the city outskirts.
Is there a Disney in London as well, or no?
No,
just Paris. Just Paris. Yeah.
There is not a Universal in Europe yet, but they are planning to build one. It looks.
Is that Google AI as well?
The Universal UK project.
Google AI is really bad at. Well, it's bad at a lot of things. Everything is the answer.
Bad at everything.
It's really bad at like trying to build a competitive Pokemon.
I can't even imagine how bad that would be.
The EV spreads it gives are really weird.
It has no idea what's going on.
It wanted like 252 speed on a Grimmsnarl, and Grimmsnarl has Prankster, so there's like no point in putting speed on Grimmsnarl. It's really bad at building competitive Pokemon. Competitive Pokemon safe from AI is what I'm telling you. That's the breaking news here.
Good.
Super Music Collection. It has been confirmed that the Pokemon Super Music Collection soundtracks for Z-A and Mega Dimension will release in Japan on CD on April 17th. No international information has been announced. These soundtracks contain all the tracks for the game, including Mega Dimension, 148 tracks across 5 discs. Also, Sarumi spelled disc with a K instead of a C. I don't know if that's a European thing. I don't know. I'm assuming it's a British thing. I don't know.
It's wrong. Either way, it's wrong.
I know that this isn't like breaking news or big news like the Super Music Collection, but I did want to include this article to bring up what I think is still annoying, and maybe people just don't know this. Because I play Pokemon music if in the background of my stream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm not playing a Pokemon game, I'll just have Pokemon music, and then people will always say,
right,
what's your playlist?
Mm.
Or like, where, like, can I get this? Can I get a link to how you're playing this? Maybe they think I'm playing it on YouTube or something.
Right.
And I'm like, I have to explain to them that the playlist is just all the albums from iTunes, not Apple Music, iTunes, which you can still go to iTunes. It still exists. And you can still purchase albums. You can still do, if you wanted Taylor Swift's new album, sure, you can stream it on Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube Music, but you can also go to iTunes and you can buy it. You could. So at some point, the Pokémon Company and Apple made a deal, in the United States at least, where the Pokemon music is on iTunes for purchase. So that's like Fire Red Leaf Green, Heart Gold Soul Silver, Diamond and Pearl, all the way up to Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. I think that was the last album.
Because Sword and Shield was not available that way. Yeah.
And then Sword and Shield, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and Legends Arceus had this weird, they didn't come out on CDs right away. And was it last year they finally came out? It was either, it was like a little over a year ago they came out. They all came out at the same time.
It was after Scarlet and Violet came out, wasn't it?
Yes, because Scarlet and Violet also came out on CDs.
It was recent.
And then, because I was in Japan and I picked up all 3 CDs, because I was going to then rip them. Let them rip! Finally, a Beyblade comment. I was going to rip them and then add them to my iTunes collection. I don't even use iTunes anymore. I use like an app called like Music Bee, because it's like iTunes is so bogged down and terrible because they haven't actually updated it. iTunes is the music app that TCG Live is. It's just like a bog. Like, no, they don't care about it. It's bogged down. So the long answer is, this is why the Pokemon music doesn't exist on like Spotify. Not that Spotify is a good app either, but if you want a bunch of Pokemon music and you live in the US, your first option is to go to iTunes and buy each album for like $10. I don't think any of them are over $10. And then if you wanted anything after Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, you have to import the CDs from Japan, which that's pretty easy to do nowadays, although maybe not as easy because tariffs exist on literally everything that you import. But
True.
You would get the CDs and then you would rip them. They're
Aren't
not
the tariffs only after a certain amount of money, though?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
It changes daily, so.
Yeah. Send them to Canada first, then import them. Tariffs might be different. So that this didn't take like 2 to 3 years to come out. It's coming out in April. Although, how did they get 148 songs? You're in one city the entire time, and that has 2 songs, either the daytime music or the nighttime music. I don't. The shocking news here is, how did we get 148 songs?
It's probably like song number 74, item pickup noise.
That does come with the iTunes things. So I guess my playlist on iTunes is like slightly unique because I have the playlist set up to say, if the song is under 20 seconds, don't include it in the playlist. And that gets rid of like the do 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 do, which like every single album has.
They're all there. It's always in there.
You could have Jacynth's song on repeat. I think Jacynth's song alone is worth buying the album.
There you go.
You get the electro swing.
I like the Mega Dimension music. I've said it before. Like, throw that on repeat. Just fall asleep to it.
Every time I hear the Jacinth song, I think of that one like TikTok audio that's like, "Ladies, da 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 da." da.
No,
I don't know if anybody knows. Well, it sounds just like it. Okay, every time it comes up, that's what I'm thinking.
I'm not sure what side of TikTok you're on, but
play it now.
My TikTok algorithm is so borked. I probably spend more time on TikTok blocking people than I do actually watching TikToks.
Totally fair.
But ever since now the ownership has changed hands and the algorithm has been broken. I don't think the algorithm is broken. I'm not one of those conspiracy theories that is like, I hereby not allow Mark Zuckerberg to share my personal info. Please share with 5 friends. I'm not like that conspiracy theory. I know for sure that like the server farms in Texas where Oracle are down, which means there's less harder to feed you new things when the servers are down. So I understand that. But all TikTok is doing is serving me people that I have blocked. I'll be like, oh, I'll swipe over and be like, oh, I already blocked them.
That's weird.
I know, it's really because they don't have stuff to give. They don't have the new stuff,
right?
Because servers are still getting back online because whatever. So they just serve me people that either TikToks I've seen before or people that I've seen before, but I've blocked them. And then I go to swipe over and I'm like, oh, I already blocked you.
Is this
that is
still
weird.
the experience of TikTok? Like as of today, it's still
as of last night.
Up?
I got 3 blocked people in a row.
Wow!
And I was like, then I I just went to my favorite TikToks that I've like favorited, and I just watched those. I just scrolled through. I was like, oh, all these are bangers.
Huh. Yeah, you think they would have made that transition be a bit smoother than?
Well, I think it was. I think it was the transition on top of Texas getting hit with that cold front, and if Texas like drops below like 50 degrees, nothing works in that state anymore.
I was listening to another podcast the other day, and I think they mentioned that there was supposed to be, when those servers went down, it was supposed to then channel to servers in like Singapore or something, and like that also broke, which made it even worse. So they couldn't even get to the backups of what they needed to do. So quite a mess for Oracle.
There was this is kind of Pokemon related. When I was in Nagasaki, my stream went down. And I was near the water. Nagasaki, well, I guess all of Japan is an island, but I know sometimes when I get near big bodies of water, my stream gets a little wonky. Water's not good for
electronics.
And I told chat, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to I'm going to manually bring stream down. I'll be back in like 5 minutes. I have to try to figure this out. And so I was originally walking to a Mr. Donuts for a Pokemon collab. Mr. Donut. So I'm trying to, that's the whole reason I was in this area. I was like, okay, so cell service might be a little shoddy, but like once we get past like the bay and we get into the Mr. Donuts, should stabilize again. And so I'm inside the mall, and I'm looking at all my gear, and I can't get a solid connection. But everything on my gear end is like 10,000 bit rate, which as long as it's over 4,000, that's like super good. And it just won't connect. And I'm like frustrated because these streams usually do really well for me because people want to see go wild area of Japan, right? Before the global. And I just started stream, and I think somebody just rated me. So I was like, we had more viewers than normal. And like, I cannot connect back. And so I completely shut down all of stream, and I did like my walk of shame back to my hotel, which was like a 20-minute walk. And luckily enough, it's like still like pretty early in the day. I think I started at like 11. The event started at 10. And I messaged the guy who like dealt with my stream backpack. I was like, I can't connect back to Twitch. And I was like, I'm doing everything my backpack wise. Like, I don't think it's an issue on my end, but I can't prove it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And he said that multiple other IRL streamers messaged him at the same time with the same issue. And
weird.
Something happened in the we were all connected to the same like server farm, which mine would have been somewhere in, I don't know, there's like 4 in the United States for Twitch.
Okay.
So whoever was connected to that one in Twitch, apparently there was like some weird reflection of light from the sun, and it overheated the server farm, and the whole server farm went down for like 20 minutes.
What?
And
like
he
a
like sent me,
magnifying glass, like burning the.
yeah, something happened like that, and he sent me like a screenshot of like how it went down, and he moved us all to another server, and it worked perfectly fine.
That is
Anyways,
so
the whole
weird.
point of that is like server farms are really weird. Like again, there are 4 servers in the United States, and one of them just happened to like overheat just the time I was live.
Yeah. That is terrible, terrible luck.
Great luck.
Terrible luck.
But of course, like that's so hard for me to troubleshoot when I have a backpack with like a 1-inch screen, and the only thing on the 1-inch screen is telling me bitrate, and I'm like,
Yeah, how are you gonna know that?
Yeah.
How are you supposed to know?
Yeah.
and if I didn't have like a manager who also worked with other IRL people, and so it was like, yeah, you're like the 12th person that's messaged me about the same exact issue. So it probably was way obvious to him that, oh, this must be a server farm issue, versus only one person being like, hey, I'm having issues right now. Because if one person's having issues, that could be like
anything.
But 12 people who can't connect to the same server farm all over the world trying to IRL.
Yeah.
What a weird issue. Anyways, I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv.
The stream usually
works.
Yeah.
Except when a specific server farm overheats and I'm on the other side of the world. I don't know.
Nice.
Technology is weird.
The internet, you know?
I hereby do not allow Mark Zuckerberg to use my likeness. I also blocked Oracle for the block Oracle, and then your TikTok algorithm will be better. No, that's
it goes back to normal.
Yeah, just completely back to normal.
I never understood
it's
that.
It's the same as I hereby.
What sense does any of that make? Come on.
Remember like a year ago where everyone was so confident that Facebook bought TikTok?
Yeah.
That was why TikTok was broken, because Facebook bought it. They were so confident. You know, sometimes when you hear Pokemon rumors, you're like, how did you get here? And then you see multiple TikTok creators say, yep, Facebook definitely bought TikTok. They didn't.
Nope.
But you too can buy the Super Mega Collection Z-A Deluxe CD featuring 148 tracks across 5 discs on April 17th.
In Japan.
All right. Let's take a break, and then we have some Masters and some Game Award stuff. So we will be right back. And we are back from our break. Pokemon Masters EX Palentine's Day event announced. Pokemon Masters I forgot they called it Palentine's Day. This event sees Adamant and Rika getting decked out for Palentine's Day. Adamant and Shiny Sylveon and Rika and Shiny Quagsire will join the fun on January 30th. That's yesterday.
Yep.
The day before. I don't remember. Is there 31 days in?
There is. I think 31 it was 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Sorry. Yeah. There are 31 days in January.
They're both added. There's a new event called Dressed to Give Thanks.
This article says they're decked out in spiffy duds.
Sure.
What is that? What is that?
It looks like they are.
I mean,
Austin,
They're
are you
dressed...
still playing Masters?
No. They're dressed very fancily, but I mean, like, just like the terminology.
Spiffy duds.
They're not stunning.
They're
Adamant and Rika stun in Pokemon Masters EX Palentine's Day event.
I don't know.
This is the third Adamant, I think. No, this is the 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth Adamant? Holy cow. He's not...
No, don't say it. Adamant is great. Adamant is worth 4.
Sure.
And he's in spiffy duds.
Bobby, what's your
Me?
how do you feel about Pokemon Masters?
I think the last time I played Pokemon Masters, I was still working in an office, so 6
Okay.
years ago.
All right. Master. The main reason I brought Masters into the podcast was not to dunk on it because I think Masters is fine. It's just another gacha game.
Yeah, no. The idea of Masters, I think. Okay, I will say this: I did really like playing Masters for the small amount of time I played it because I think more than anything, because you have the trainers talking and actually giving them some more character. And I thought that was really cool that they did that with the game. But that is kind of where it ends for me.
I think maybe I just don't like DNA games because I don't like Pocket either.
Okay.
Oh, right. Sorry. I was thinking Sleep was DNA. Sleep was
No, Sleep is select button.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
now
okay.
it's up, but it was select button.
Yeah.
I love Ilka games. I have so much faith in Pokemon Champions. Somebody the other day said, I can't believe you dropped off of Pocket faster than you dropped off of Masters. But I only logged into Masters to pull characters.
Right. That's 90% of what I would do when I open the game.
And then I would get a character and I would be like, yippee! And then I would close the app and then not think about it. And that's ultimately what Pocket was as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's a new Cramorant card in Pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very
I did
good.
open Pocket, and I opened my 2 packs, and they were both bad. And then I closed it, and then I was like, I don't care anymore.
Right.
But if I would have gotten the Cramorant, I would have done the same thing. Because what am I going to do with that?
But isn't that a majority of Pokemon things? Like, that's the
Yes.
regular TCG as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. It is the majority of Pokemon things, but I just can't do that for every Pokemon game.
Sure.
Okay.
I only have so much time in the day. At least with like Sleep, and I think Sleep is incredible. Subscribe to our bonus podcast. At least with like Sleep, I always have something to do.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
Like I'm building towards something. Like I just hit Master 20 on Topalo. I don't plan to go to Topalo anymore. But if they introduced a specific Pokemon to Topalo, I'd be willing to go there. But even in Pokemon Sleep, you can play Pokemon Sleep in the way of like I want to get every sleep style or like I want to complete my sleep decks, which you could do that in TCG Pocket, or you can do that in Masters. I want every character, every version of Adaman. TCG Pocket, I want every card. But beyond that, I have goals I want to hit. So even though there's nothing happening in Sleep this week, I'm going to stock up on dessert stuff for next week. So there's still a goal I have this week, even though there's not an event.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think the battling in Pocket is good. I think the 20 card decks, the meta, the format, I think that's good. But because I used to play TCG competitively, anytime I played it, I would just want to play the real TCG. Yeah. And so if I had time to play Pocket's meta, I still wouldn't do it because I would, if I had like 5 hours a week to play Pocket, I would rather just put that 5 hours towards the real Pokemon TCG. So again, it's not saying Pocket is bad in any way. It's just there are other Pokemon things I like more. I don't love the Masters battling, but I know why people like it, and I think that's cool. I just don't personally like it.
And
but
that's
I don't
okay.
I don't think it's bad. It's just not my style.
Not for you, yeah.
Yeah.
That's understandable. I think people get into the mindset. I think there are, I won't even say there are a lot of Pokemon fans, but I think there are definitely the Pokemon
there's only like
fans
7
out
Pokemon fans out there. It's just us.
There are Pokemon fans out there who think that all Pokemon games need to be for them, or that like all features of a Pokemon game need to be for them. And when they're not, they get whatever, angry, or just mad about the fact that this feature is of no interest to them, or this game just doesn't interest them. But in reality, like, that's okay. That's the whole idea, is that they make all these different types of games and you don't have to play all
to
of them.
attract different types of people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So makes sense.
I will say one of my favorite things about Masters is just pulling for the characters. I like being like, oh my gosh, I got this cool outfit. I don't know. But I don't love the gameplay part of it.
Okay. So
that's another one I would just click auto battle. Call it a day.
Yeah, see, the auto battle doesn't do it for me. And that was a turnoff for Pocket. Is you guys were just like, oh, do auto battle for the promo cards. And I was like, I don't want to auto battle for the promo cards, and I don't want to open one booster pack at a time.
Yeah.
See, that's funny, because one of the things, to bring it back to a classic, Pokemon Quest, one of the things I really liked doing in Pokemon Quest was building the team, but then auto battling and letting it go do the battle. And I wasn't pushing anything, but I would build the team out and, like, set it all up to strategize, so like I could beat the levels, but then just let it go auto battle those levels.
Yeah, I did kind of like the auto battle on Quest, but I feel like Quest felt, this is a very bad comparison, I felt like Quest felt more like an auto chess than Pocket feels like an auto chess, or like Masters feels like an auto chess. Like, auto chess, for those that don't know, is like it's like a little chessboard, but you're picking some characters out, and you're assuming what characters they're picking, and then that team picks characters, you pick characters, and then they battle automatically. That's the auto part, and then one team wins. And then in between rounds, you change things out, you upgrade things, and then you keep doing that. Right. And nothing about Pocket feels like very auto chess because it's just the match itself.
Sure, yeah.
Whereas Quest kind of slightly, very slightly, felt like a little auto chessy.
I see that.
Also, Pokemon Unite in China has auto chess.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I want that to come to the United States so bad. I know there's a way to make it happen, but I just want them to announce it for the for English countries, or not literally every country that is in China.
If we're talking about things that we want to happen outside of China, also the Pokemon Quest that China has, where they actually get all the new Pokemon, or did. I don't know if they still do.
I think it's done now. I think they've made it all the way up to Eternatus. I don't think they went past that. Yeah, they had every Pokemon in the game, but like
Pokemon Quest Eternatus?
Yeah, it did go up to Eternatus at one point.
That's wild that there's so much more to that game. But yeah, I would love for that event. I most likely never will, but I would love to play that again with all the updates.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Well, because Game Freak made Pokemon Quest, but then they gave it to a different developer for China.
Didn't it go to like Tencent or something?
NetEase.
Oh, okay.
The game discontinued February 10th, 2025, so it's done.
Oh,
okay.
So fairly recently. I mean, 1 year ago.
Yeah. An expanded version exclusively released in China between NetEase, the Pokemon Company, and Game Freak. The game discontinued. Oh man, they had Shiny, Jolteon, Vaporeon, and Flareon as one of the things too.
Oh.
They had
Pokemon Quest was great.
Yeah.
What a game that was. And they made like merch for it, right? They had the block.
Yeah, I got the block plushies.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had merch, yeah. They had new islands.
They had
Cacturn
new islands?
was in the game. Wimpod was in the game.
Wimpod?
Dang, they really got it good. Surprisingly, though, that was one of the games that I didn't auto battle on.
Ooh.
You would think I would, but that one I didn't.
Interesting. I don't know. At first I didn't, but then, after a little while, it was just easy to set it up and, let it go and just look at your phone. That Pokemon Quest was the reason that I took the auto lock off of my phone.
Oh, I had to play on the Switch.
Oh,
I'm not allowed
okay.
to turn my phone sideways.
I did also play on the Switch.
I played on my phone, so I could play like anywhere, where whether that be break at work or something like that. But yeah,
I don't know what would bring me back to Pocket.
not Cramorant apparently.
Yeah.
No, not Cramorant. I mean, the Cramorant card's not even good.
There'd have to be they need to do some sort of missions or something that
I don't know if I want
changes
that
it up
either.
a little bit. They need to change something because it's literally the same thing every month. Has been the same thing every month, except I will say, this month, Fantastical Parade, 1 pack art, but 2 immersive cards in the pack art.
That's
There's a
not
change.
switching it up. That's just scamming you more.
There's a change.
What did they say a couple months ago, that they were gonna like fix something by the end of next year? I don't remember.
By the
what it
end
was.
of summer 2026,
Yeah.
they were gonna make UI changes
Okay.
and allow the deluxe pack EX card list
Oh,
to
Yeah, that's
take
it.
from your old to take
Yes.
from the other Series A packs.
when I did log into Pocket, I did have like 20 gifted cards. That was kind of
Okay.
fun.
People trying to get you back in.
No, they probably just don't listen to the podcast and didn't hear I was playing.
Yeah, I mean, Pocket has essentially become the game that I open probably like once a day to rip some packs, rip 2 packs, 'cause I'm not on premium anymore, and then just kind of put the game away, right? But
Yeah.
and I did open a bunch of packs this weekend. Pokemon did send me some Poke Gold, so I did open a bunch of Fantastical Parade packs actually this morning. But aside from that, then I just log in once a day, do my packs, and then I do some of the CPU battles. I do find those fun from time to time. Just like trying to build a new deck or trying to add some different things from the new sets. But I just never got into the PvP stuff once it became ranked.
That's actually, I think that's when I stopped too, when they added the ranked stuff. So maybe I just don't like ranked games.
Yeah, I already said I would rather just play the real TCG.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you. Like, I would also like to play the real TCG. I think the real TCG is very fun. I just don't have like 40 minutes
Yeah.
to give to one round of playing. And that's where it's a bummer for me. And that's where Pocket like scratched that itch for a long time.
Mhm.
It was like, oh, I can just battle, even just battling the computer. I can just get some battles in and do this, and it's quick. But yeah, I do enjoy the physical TCG more than Pocket.
Yeah. Maybe if they sped up the animations, I don't know. The whole game still feels very clunky.
Yeah, it is quite slow going from menu to
We need
menu.
Pokemon TCG Pocket EX.
That'll do it.
The Pokemon won an award at the New York Game Awards. Speaking at this is popverse.com. Speaking at the New York Game Awards, Ishihara spoke about turning the, quote, simple concept of Pokemon into a worldwide phenomenon. And he would know Ishihara was the producer of the very first Pokemon titles, becoming the president and CEO of the Pokemon Company. And then says, quote, the development process, however, was not easy, Ishihara said during the New York Game Awards. It took a great deal of trial and error to figure out how to actualize this ideal with a limited amount of resources we had available. In the end, it took 6 years to complete the first games, Pokemon Red and Green. Still, we all felt confident that the main gameplay elements that would become the foundation to the Pokemon game series: catch, raise, trade, and battle.
Yeah. I don't know why I've never I don't know why the word raise feels weird to me.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
I think it makes sense.
I get it. I understand. I don't know why it feels weird to hear it said like that. Catch, raise, trade, and battle. I have a hard time like raise and battle together.
I think it would sound better if it said train.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Oh.
It just feels weird when it sounds like you're raising something to battle.
But that is what it is.
I know it is, but
It was the Andrew Yoon Legend Award for the 15th annual Game Awards. That was the award they were recognized for 30 years, 12 billion in sales, and over 489 million games sold.
that's so many games.
Raise versus train.
Okay, here we go.
No, I don't know. I'm just
I thought we were gonna break down the definitions.
No, Webster's dictionary defines raising as.
Well, because I understand raising, I understand that idea, but I feel like, okay, I think of raise as like you take something from being a baby, right, to being like an adult version of that thing, whether that's a human, an animal, a plant, like.
Sure.
I feel like that's what that is, right? And then with Pokemon, Pokemon start at, you catch one at like level 5, and then you get it to be like level 100 at some point. But I don't feel like that's like raising it in that same way. Like I don't feel like you're catching that level 5 Pokemon as a baby and then you're raising it to like adult form by like level 100, because there are literally like baby Pokemon.
Yes.
And I feel like that's different than like, I don't know. I just don't think raise is a weird word here.
I didn't think you were going to get so hyper-focused on this word.
I didn't think I was either, but it just came off weird when it says catch, raise, trade, and battle. Like, it feels weird to raise something to trade it away or raise something to make it battle versus like, I'm training this thing to battle, or I'm training this thing so that it's good to trade. I don't know. I obviously don't compare like real life things to these games, but it just feels weird to me. Anyone else? No, just me.
Yes, I think it's that. I'll let you have that one.
It's mostly you.
But you can see where I'm coming from
But
when
I do.
I say that.
I think a lot of it is just because it's Pokemon trainers, not Pokemon raisers.
Well, there are Pokemon breeders.
But they didn't say
You
breed.
didn't mention breeding.
True.
They said raise.
That's true.
Ishihara, this was a thing that went around, and this is another silly, weird conversation. Ishihara has said to the current owners of Pokemon at Game Freak, Creatures, and Nintendo. Now, Ishihara is the CEO of the Pokémon Company. And again, I'm going to say his exact words were, quote, to the current owners of Pokemon at Game Freak, Creatures, and Nintendo. And I see this a lot on threads where people blame Nintendo for Pokemon games being bad.
Yep.
or they'll say the Pokemon Company is rushing Game Freak. And look, I've been doing the show for 15 years. I am sure I have said some incorrect things about Game Freak or the Pokemon Company or Nintendo over the last 15 years, right? The nice thing about the show is that you can at least see the growth, and like we learn new information, and then we take that information to, we learned how to say Stone Jarner. And this show here will never say Stone Jarner wrong. We were, and we learned the name correctly. And we are a Stone Jarner family here.
I can't promise that.
If Austin stops being on the show, it's possibly because of Stone Jarner.
Yeah, that's definitely why I cannot say Stone Jarnar.
Or Farathorn, or Aegislash. We say them correctly here.
Or
Aegislash is fine.
Ampharos.
Ampharos. That one's going to take a while. That one will take a while.
The notion of Pokemon games are rushed or Pokemon games are bad or Game Freak doesn't have enough time. Those, I believe, are valid statements. Pokemon games are rushed. Game Freak doesn't have enough time. I think when you say those are valid. But to say the Pokemon Company is rushing Game Freak and that's why the games are bad doesn't actually make sense. Maybe it makes sense to you because you don't understand how this works. But the Pokemon Company does not own Game Freak.
Right.
That's why Ishihara, the CEO of the Pokemon Company, said to the current owners of Pokemon, Game Freak, Creatures, and Nintendo, what's happening back there? Game Freak owns the Pokemon Company.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Pokemon Company can't tell Game Freak what to do. They're the owners.
Right. Yeah.
So Nintendo is also an owner of the Pokemon Company. So there might be a smudge of validity there. But again, we know for sure Nintendo only owns 32% of the Pokemon Company. We know Nintendo's actual stake. So that leaves 68%. That is somehow split between Creatures and Game Freak. We don't know that. Maybe it's safe to assume it's 34-34. But as the publisher of a lot of Pokemon games, the publisher can have some say in when that game is coming out. The publisher just might be like, well, instead of October, can we do November? We have another game coming out. We don't want those two games to line up. We still need to market your game, right? The publisher is in charge of, obviously, publishing, but also in charge of marketing. And that's why when they announce Gen 10, probably at the end of this month, there's probably going to be a lot of marketing for it for the rest of the year. And like I have been saying, they're probably done with ZA. There's probably not going to be any more marketing. Once they show the last Pokemon that's not in that game. I don't want to spoil it for some people. Most people know what Pokemon that is, but there's one more Pokemon in the game that they're going to release, like Mewtwo or like Diancie. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but that's like the last thing they're going to do for ZA. And then they're going to drop that game and all the marketing is going to run to Gen 10.
Right.
And again, another thing I was right about was when they announced ZA, I was like, you're not going to hear about it for a full year. And every time there was a Pokemon announcement, people would be like, oh, this is it. This is when they're going to announce it. And I was like, no, because Nintendo's not going to start marketing it yet. And I was correct. They didn't say anything for ZA for a full year because the marketer, Nintendo, wasn't ready to do so.
Yeah.
So in this situation, I don't know how else to compare this. This is what I can compare it to. We'll go back to Twitch because there's been a lot of Twitch. Follow me on Twitch. Follow Austin on Twitch.
Hey, thanks.
Austin streams a lot later than I do. So if you need something at 1 a.m., Austin is normally live.
I've got you.
Amazon owns Twitch.
Yeah.
Twitch has
What a twist.
Twitch has its own CEO, its own employees, its own business. But Mr. Dan Clancy, the CEO of Twitch, is not going back to Jeff Bezos telling him what to do. That's not how it works.
Jeff Bezos is also not the CEO of Amazon.
I know, he's not the CEO anymore. But yeah, Amazon is Twitch is a functioning company by itself. With its own goals that it needs to hit, with its own numbers. Like, theoretically, Amazon could keep Twitch afloat forever because Amazon makes so much money. Most of Amazon's money comes from AWS, not even from, Amazon.com. But Twitch cannot go back and say, hey, Twitch can ask them for stuff,
Sure.
right? But I don't know why people think the Pokemon Company is telling Game Freak what to do. That's just not how it works. Game Freak's the one that makes the Pokemon. They make every single Pokemon. The Pokemon Company cannot move forward with the anime if they don't know what new Pokemon are coming, because Game Freak is making those new Pokemon. The Pokemon Company isn't making the Pokemon. Game Freak is. They're making the regions. They're making the characters. They're making the Pokemon. And you could argue, and it's a fair argument, that maybe they don't do that very well. You could maybe argue that. I do think actually they do a lot. I do think their characters are very good. I do think they're both the Pokemon characters and the human characters. I do think they do that very well. And then Creatures makes the TCG. They make the card games. So again, Creatures can't make new cards unless Game Freak is making new Pokemon. And Creatures are also doing the 3D models. Creatures also makes they do the 3D modeling for Pokemon. They do the TCG. We know Creatures works directly with DNA for TCG Pocket.
Right.
So the main reason that the Pokemon Company originally existed was because Game Freak didn't want to manage or sell plushies. Could they have done that? Yes, they could have. There's lots of game developers who make a game by themselves, publish them by themselves, sell their own merch. That exists.
Yeah.
Game Freak just wanted to make games. They didn't want to manage merchandise. They didn't want to manage stores. They didn't want to worry about even marketing. Nintendo took care of the marketing. That's why most companies have a publisher, because they don't know how to market their own game. Game Freak tried to market its own game. Which one was that? Oh, Little Town Hero. Yeah, you didn't hear about it because they were bad at marketing their own game.
Yeah.
So Game Freak and Creatures and Nintendo made the Pokemon Company, which they are owners of, so the Pokemon Company could do the things that Game Freak didn't want to do. At no point did power shift where the company in charge of selling plushes and putting Mewtwo on a pair of Nikes is telling Game Freak to make games faster. How does this not make sense to people? How would have the power have changed to the point where the company making sure that Mewtwo is nice and shiny out in Shibuya is telling Game Freak, hey, you need to make this game faster? That's not happening.
Yeah.
This is true.
I'm not sure.
It's also possible that people just don't know that
that's probably the majority of it.
Companies own this, so when they say the Pokemon Company, they just mean like whoever's in charge of making Pokemon specifically. But when they start to like try to go down a little further and say things like the Pokemon Company is rushing Game Freak, like when they try to take that extra step of actually saying like the Pokemon Company is making other companies do something, that's when it's like, no, that's just not how this works.
That's not how that works.
Right? It's literally the other way around. Like,
I think people might get confused on like the names of these like the Pokemon Company seems like it could encompass everything. And then Game Freak, they make the games. So I think in their mind, the Pokemon Company seems like a larger, because it has Pokemon in the name.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so they just assume that's the case. And then they know Nintendo's got like Mario, you think of all these like Nintendo Directs, whatnot. You just think, that's probably the parent of the Pokemon, but that's just not. But I think that's where their mind goes.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just wrong.
They gotta learn.
They're just wrong.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between somebody being like, oh, the Pokemon Company is rushing. Because like at face value, that may seem true.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're saying the Pokemon Company is rushing Game Freak, that's where it is. It's totally different. Because I'm assuming the first statement, they're just saying Pokemon games are rushed.
Mm-hmm.
But they just happen to say the Pokemon Company.
Mm-hmm.
But people talk about like great confidence of this, of like the reason that these games are bad is because of Nintendo and the Pokemon Company.
Mm-hmm.
And then the logic of that just falls apart. Like, you could maybe say that Nintendo is rushing, but why would Nintendo care? Besides, again, to the point of like, let's just, like, Nintendo's main goal here is to make sure that they market the game properly so they get as much money as they get as a publisher, but also to just make sure it doesn't interfere with other games.
Mhm.
Right.
And I don't even think they care that much, because Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, and Smash Brothers came out on the same day.
Do you think that they'll care that there's a potential? Do you remember a couple years ago when Barbie and Oppenheimer came out on the same weekend?
Yeah, Barbenheimer.
Yeah. So this year, right, there's the potential that the Pokemon game would come out close to the time that Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out.
Yes. Yeah, I think Nintendo would be smart enough to know, let's not put those out at the
Let's
same
probably not do that.
time.
Right.
But the Game Freak is okay, here's our budget and here's our time frame.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for every game.
Yeah.
And I think the other argument is like, well, why don't they just take longer? And they could, but I think the pushback there is, well, there's the anime and there's the TCG and there's everything else. And I think that's where the confusion comes in, where like the Pokemon Company is telling Game Freak to do this quicker because of all these other things. But again, Game Freak being the owner, they're well aware of this. So they probably set their own schedule to make sure that everything is lined up.
Yeah, well, because the Game Freak being a potentially, 30 some odd % owner of the Pokemon Company, it only benefits them that machine continues moving on a consistent timeline, right? So they know that them making the games dictates the cards coming out, dictates the anime coming out, and all the plushes and all the things that go along with that make all the money so that they can continue to make more games. Right? So they know that they can't stop that from happening. And if they decide, oh, you know what, we're going to take 5 or 6 years to make the next game. Okay, well, now you got to figure the TCG out. You got to figure the anime out. You got to figure the merchandise releases out for that period of time, because now the timeline is all thrown off, and that could affect how much money is brought in so that they can continue to make the next versions of the game. So it's much more connected than just, oh, let's take more time on the game, because there's so many moving parts to how those are all connected back to the game at the very beginning of it all.
And that's why the Pokemon Company exists. So Game Freak can just focus on games.
On the games.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally why it exists.
Yep.
Because if Game Freak needed to do everything themselves, they would need to hire up and scale more. Right? Like hire more people,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
have different departments within that, and then manage everything. Where instead, their team of 200 some people are only there to make the games.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then that goes into, okay, these are the new characters. That's going to go over to the cards. These are the new characters that are going to go into the anime. These are the new characters that are going to get plushes. So I don't know. It's all like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, except when people are like complaining and being like, these are the reasons why these games are bad.
Mm-hmm.
Then to say like, it's not Nintendo or the Pokemon Company rushing games. That's just not how it works.
Yeah.
Like Scarlet and Violet was made during the pandemic. That was the first time that Game Freak had to switch to a work-at-home model.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I'm never going to come on this podcast and sit here and be like, Scarlet and Violet was not a hot mess. It was a mess.
Yeah,
sure.
So was Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. But if they already had the budget and they already had the time frame, and then they had to switch to work at home, how much of that ate into their planned production time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, with Gen 10, we know that this is a 4-year cycle and not a 3-year cycle. But again, it's not even fair to say it's a 3-year cycle or a 4-year cycle because we know they start working on it well before the next generation is even done.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, they're not just spending 3 years on a video game and then shipping it out. It's just the time between each game is 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a whole other argument of like, why don't they hire more people? They do. They hire people all the time. You can literally go to their website. They hire at least 10 people a year. But again, we don't know how many people leave or get fired or move on. Like James Turner left on good terms.
Mm-hmm.
He was the art director for Sword and Shield. He left before Scarlet and Violet came out. Scarlet and Violet has a lot of James Turner in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The professors are made by James Turner. Multiple Pokemon are made by James Turner. The sandwich menu background is made by James Turner. But he left well before that game shipped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he left on good terms because he just made a TCG card that is in Ascended Heroes.
Yep.
And he's made Pokemon Center merch. But he's no longer at the Pokemon Company. So yes, people are leaving. They are hiring people. But like, Game Freak just can't say, hey, we need a Unity developer or we need an Unreal Engine developer because Game Freak doesn't use Unity or Unreal Engine. They use their own custom engine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
hiring
also-
is unfortunately really slow, and they're very secretive and they're very picky.
Yeah. And hiring people doesn't just mean things are going to speed. Like, you also want to hire quality people.
You can't just,
right?
yeah.
And you need to train them and you need to do all the things that go into hiring a person. And when you get to a certain size of a company, when you are employing tens of thousands of people, it's a little different. When you are a 200-person company and you're trying to employ people to work, it's just different. Having worked for both a company with tens of thousands of employees and companies with as little as like 40 employees up to 1,000, the hiring process and being in those processes, working on that side of things, it's just different. Like, it's very different. And it just doesn't work as easily as, oh, just go hire 200 people. It's a 200-person company. You can't just do 100% hire and
they're in Roppongi. Where are they going to put another 200 people?
Yeah. It just doesn't work like that. And yes, you could say, oh, they could see this in overtime, but overtime, nothing. Like, they're still selling millions and millions of copies of these games every few years. In their mind, why would they need to hire more people in their mind? They are still making plenty on their games. And I don't think that they, as the Pokemon Company or Game Freak, sorry, I don't think they look at their stuff and think, if we hired more people, we would just do better. I really don't think that they themselves are seeing it like that. And with Scarlet and Violet, who knows, right? Like, obviously they know that, like, that game probably did not live up to the expectations that they probably set for themselves. And I'm sure we won't see those types of issues in Gen 10. But for the most part, I don't think they look back at their games and think themselves, if we just had another 100 people, that game would be better. We'd sell more than 28 million copies of Sword and Shield, or whatever.
I think that's the point, though, right? If you had another 100 people and you paid another 100 salaries over just assume a 3-year time,
Sure.
are you going to sell another 1 million copies of the game?
Right.
So, like, we sold 26 million copies of Scarlet and Violet with 200 people. If we add another 100 people, do we suddenly sell 30 million copies? And even if we sold 30 million copies, does that extra 3 million copies pay for 100 people's salaries over 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
Probably
not. Probably not.
Yeah. But I think, I really do think it comes back to the core of, I don't think Game Freak or Nintendo or the Pokemon Company or Creatures, any of that, I don't think they do a poor job at the games they make. I don't think they look back and think on all these Pokemon games that have come out and think we could do better. Let's hire more people. I just don't think that that's even a possibility of like a thought in their mind, especially with how exceedingly well these games do, you know? So you can sit there and complain and say like they need more time, they're rushed, they're whatever, but the results don't reflect that at all. And, you know, so I don't know.
I mean, Bungie had 850 people working on Destiny 2, and I still fell through the floor multiple times during the Leviathan raid.
I feel like I bring this game up so many times, but think about Skyrim. That game has so many bugs. And I can't imagine how many people work at Bethesda, but it's probably, I would assume, a lot.
Yeah.
Well, if Bethesda games are working correctly, that there's something terribly wrong.
Exactly.
I mean, even look at a game that obviously has
700 people at Bethesda.
Okay.
How many?
700.
700 developers.
Yeah.
2,000 employees total, but they're saying
Okay.
700 people are developers. So the other 1,300 employees are what? Marketing, plushes. Got to make your Fallout dog plush.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think, I don't know. I just think it really comes back to like the results don't show what the people who say like, well, they need more time, they're rushed, this and that. The results don't like reflect that. And regardless of why you think that is, if the results don't reflect that, there is not going to be a change because the company is going to say, what we're doing is making boatloads of money with what we're currently doing. We don't need to change what we're doing until they stop making boatloads of money on those games, until those games stop being as successful as they are. And for whatever reason you want to give that they're successful, you don't want to give it to the fact that the game is a great game, whatever you want to say, it doesn't really matter because the result at the end is the same. They're super successful and they're making a ton of money. So they're not going to change.
I actually think the like concept of not hiring more people and instead putting those projects onto other people makes more sense. And what I mean by that is Game Freak obviously didn't want to do a Diamond and Pearl remake. Maybe all 200 employees or maybe most of those 200 employees were like, I don't want to do this project. I want to work on something new, something fresh. And so they put that project on Ilka. And we know that was rushed. We know that from whatever that Game Freak was having second thoughts that maybe people didn't like Legends Arceus, so they enlisted Ilka to make Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl for all players to be satisfied because they weren't super confident that Arceus was going to take off.
Right.
And so I think that's fine. Would Game Freak make a better game than Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl? Probably. But also then we might not have gotten Legends Z-A or something else.
Right.
Because they can only work on so many projects at once. So I think that leads into Beast of Reincarnation, which we'll probably talk about last week, where we now know
next week.
Okay. You said we'll probably talk about it last week.
I'm pretty sure I said next week.
No.
Maybe I just didn't enunciate it well enough.
No.
Good thing none of this is recorded and we can't play it back. We'll probably talk about Beast of Reincarnation next week, but we now know that it's not really Game Freak working on it. We know that entire project is pretty much outsourced. And I think that's fine. Because I think at the end of the day, I think the one thing that Game Freak is really... I don't think Game Freak is amazing developers. I've always said this. Look at Gen 1 and how broken it was. Look at Gen 2. They introduced like 9 new Pokeballs. None of them actually do what they're supposed to do. Gen 3, you would meet the legendary beast at the very end and they would roar. And because they roared, they permanently disappeared forever because they didn't program that either. Not to mention the entire berry glitch in Gen 3. Like, there's a history of very weird bugs in Pokemon games. And that's fine. Again... Bungie is a 800-person studio, and you fall through the floor all the time in Destiny. Things happen. Like, every game has its issues. I think Pokemon fans maybe hyper-focus on those issues because they only play Pokemon games, and so they see those. that's fine. That's whatever. But I think the one thing Game Freak is really good at is like direction. And I think when you look at like how great the characters are, I'm not saying ZA has a great story, but I am saying that the characters in ZA are really great.
Mm-hmm.
What they do with those characters maybe doesn't have like a rewarding payoff.
Yeah.
But I think when you're making characters over 30 years and you're making memorable characters over and over again, I think that speaks to something. And you're making memorable Pokemon over and over again, I think that speaks to something. And I think there is, even though the games can be buggy or the games can look ugly, I think Game Freak is really good at having a gameplay loop that brings people back. And a lot of that is just overseen by like an art director or a game director or these higher ups that aren't actually developing the game itself. So now that we found out that Beast of Reincarnation is pretty much 6 high-end people at Game Freak that are overseeing a completely different team of developers. So the core development team at Game Freak can keep working on Pokemon games. I think that's changed my mind on Beast of Reincarnation, because if you told me like the team that made Little Town Hero or the team that made Tembo is making Beast of Reincarnation, I'd be like, pass.
I'm all right.
Those games were terrible.
Yeah.
I think they had decent direction. But I think Pokemon games, while they look ugly and while they do have bugs, I think they're really charming in a lot of ways. And if they can take that and direct a team with that charm, I think that's a good sign.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
a compromise of not trying to hire 200 more people.
Mm-hmm.
Because what is that team going to do after they're done with Beast of Reincarnation? They're probably going to work on a different project, and then Game Freak's going to go back to the 7 Pokemon games they're currently working on.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
All right, well, if you would like to stick around for our bonus segment, we're going to go over the new Pokemon and Pokemon Sleep. Thanks for making it to the end. I don't know what the call of action was for YouTube. I'm pretty sure I said next week, not last week. You can replay
We'll
the tape.
see. We'll see about that.
We'll see what the YouTube comments say. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making the end. If you would like to support the show, patreon.com/PKMNcast. You can do a free trial on Patreon if you want. And that will get you access to the bonus stuff in the premium feed. Or if you're on the Apple Podcast. But thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Austin. We will see you guys next week. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast. We are
Super effective.
Get your super spiffy duds on.
Oh,
That's what they said. That's
yeah,
what they
you're
said.
right. You're right. I thought I missed something.
You can make macarons.
Yeah.
You can make some Zing Zap spiced cola, or maybe a Clodsire eclair. Lots of options.
Yeah, you might want to focus on Claude's. If you wanted to focus on Clodsire eclairs, what is that? That's like
It is
cacao.
100. It's 102 ingredients though, so you would also have to be having to run